Hello there, welcome to the Perfume Experience. Welcome back to another house series, and today we are going to talk to you about a house called the Alpha Fragrances. And this particular house actually makes gourmand fragrances, so you can actually kind of call it a gourmand collection. This will be part one of two videos, where today I'm going to talk to you about three fragrances from this house which are complete gourmands, and the next set of video that will come out, which will have another three fragrances, will also be gourmand fragrances, right? So this house Alpha Fragrances, I've actually featured them in the past as well with one of the fragrances, but that was more of an experimental fragrance that he tried out. Then he shelved this particular project and he's launched these 6 new fragrances. This is managed by a person called as Laksh Pandey, and is part of the Bangalore, is part of the fragrance community in India. So that's how I kind of know this particular house, and we've done fragrances with him, right? So today I'm going to talk to you about 3 fragrances and 3 gourmand fragrances. Let's get into this video right after this intro. So welcome back. So like I said, we are going to talk to you about 3 fragrances, and the first fragrance that we will talk about is actually called as this. So this is called French Apple Tart Oud. Okay, and this is how their small flyer is, and it talks about the notes that's there on the particular fragrance, and in the back it talks about the description, all of it. And this is the 30 ml vials, I would believe, and this is how the juice color looks like. This is the basic presentation. Okay, and this is a fragrance that is basically like the name says, it's got French Apple Tart Oud, and so it basically got some red apples, some oud, some pastry essence, cinnamon, honey, and of course ISOE super. Okay, so you kind of get a sense that what kind of fragrance this is going to be. So let's do a couple of sprays, and I have had it for some time now and I've liked these a lot, so let me talk to you about it. So this is basically a fragrance that opens with a typical apple vibe. So especially when you think about, if you've eaten apple pie, you will notice that there's a lot of cinnamon that goes into apple, and that's what makes apple pie so very nice. Especially when the apple pie is baking in your house, it kind of fills the entire house with that aroma, right? So that aroma is mostly apples mixed with a lot of cinnamon sweetness, the oriental type of cinnamon sweetness that you get, along with a little bit of sugar which gets burnt, and that gives that burnt caramelly vibe. That is the type of note that you get. But primarily what I get here is a very strong note of apple along with a good amount of cinnamon, right? Now this continues for about 45-50 minutes time, maybe about an hour you can say. After the 3-4 hours time, when it is pretty loud, pretty beast mode, I would say in some cases, and then it will kind of go down to a dry down, where you do get that pastry kind of a vibe along with a little bit of a woody element, and of course a little bit slight element of vanilla, right? But more of that fruity tone starts to sober down, it goes lower and lower, and you kind of enjoy a nice gourmand kind of a fragrance, which is essentially a fragrance that will remind you of a good apple pie with a good amount of woody element. Okay, now this is one of those fragrances for me, when you put it on, it smells very sharp, very sweet, very mild, very beautifully blended. But what happens is it also makes you nose blind, right? To an extent where you think that you are not able to smell this particular fragrance on you, or sometimes you feel it's very soft. But that's where you go wrong, because when you walk a bit, it leaves a beautiful sillage, and the moment you come anywhere to anybody, even before 2-3 feet of distance, people can actually recognize that you're wearing a fragrance. And I in fact got a compliment like that from one of the family members in the house, saying, what are you wearing? It smells nice. And in fact, till such time I kept thinking, oh, this is very soft and I'm not able to smell this particular fragrance that very loudly. But it was surprising that he could smell it more than 3 feet plus. So this is fantastic this way. So this is French Apple Tart. Now another thing is the longevity of this particular fragrance is phenomenal. On your skin you will easily get 6-7 hours. It's always there on your skin. Even beyond that, when you snip up close, you do get a good dry down of that woody element, this oriental spiciness, the honey dryness. That is something that you will definitely get. But on your apparels, you will be surprised to know that it is there on the next day as well. So 14 hours, 16 hours easy on apparel. You pick up your clothes, even the next day you will smell it even more than that. In fact, I would easily say that you will be able to smell it even beyond 24 hours time. But again, then that depends on the environment that you are in, your house condition, your room temperature and all of that, right? For Bangalore weather, what it is right now, it's not, it is kind of cold, but then it is still in the daytime, the temperatures are soaring up to 28 degrees, 30 as well. So even with that temperature, with that rainy monsoon season that we are still having it here, I am able to get French apple tart on my skin for about 7 hours time, on my clothes for more than 20 hours easy. So this is something that you can definitely try. I will mention the prices in the description or in the link. It comes in a nice box as well with a satin finish as well. So you can look at those image presentations, and I will share the number for you to get in touch with Alpha Fragrance House. So this is French apple tart oud. Okay, now we'll go to another fragrance, and this is another beautiful one to talk about. This is for those people who absolutely love tea note fragrances, right? So especially if you have liked Oolong Shah or any of those tea-based fragrances that you like, and then this is superb. This is called Chai Amber. Now this is a fragrance that's actually got Assam tea, Chinese tea, it's got milk notes like lactonic notes, then of course the same oriental spices like cinnamon, cardamom, star anise, and of course it's got a lot of amber and vanilla, and this has got ambroxan. So this is got this nice write-up of all of the notes and the description of the fragrances that you will find. So this is something that you will get from him, and the bottle looks like this, the artwork looks like this, the bottle, juice color is this way. Now this is a very nice version of a tea fragrance, because this particular fragrance has actually got a spice element, right? It feels like when the Assam tea and Chinese tea is coming together, you feel like you have a masala tea kind of an opening. So if you have tried, let's say, Dabur Lal, the red label, you have the masala tea, the natural tea option, and when you smell those tea with the milk, you kind of know that you get those masala vibes. Something like that is what you get. You have a spicy opening that you will get. Though this is a gourmand, though this talks about cinnamon tea and all of that, I feel the tea notes along with the milk and with that masala tea option, that is what you kind of get. Smells very, very nice, especially for people who do not like a soft, or let's say who don't like a sweet kind of a fragrance, and you're looking for a gourmand fragrance with the vanilla base or with the milk base and with the tea note that has got a little bit of a spice element, then this is perfect for you, right? Now this smells very nice this way, it opens this way. This for me stays more linear like this for the time, for the 3-4 hours time, and then as it goes down, you get a lot of vanilla, you do get a lot of that ambery element as well. There is a good throw in the air because it's got ambroxan, so that way it feels nice. Performance for me on this one, I would say, is slightly lower for me. I might get about 5-6 hours on my skin. On apparel, it does about 8-9 hours compared to the French tart. This one is a little lower, but it feels nice because this is slightly very different to how that particular fragrance smells. In fact, this has got that spice element, and I told you about that milk and lactonic vibes that you get along with the tea. It's very good. Now, I personally cannot differentiate the differences between Assam tea and Chinese tea. I'm guessing Chinese tea is it's got a more herb-like vibe because they drink it black, and Assam tea is, we know that it's one of the best teas that's available in India, and we use it with milk, right? So I know that much, but then I wouldn't really know how they are. I'm not a tea connoisseur, so I wouldn't know that. But overall, I would say that for me, I can relate it to something like a red label tea with a little bit of a masala vibe, where there's a good spice element. You add ginger, you add your ginger especially, and then when you make tea, it has got a nice spice element. That is the type of spice element that you get with a good amount of tea base to it and a good amount of vanilla to it. So very beautiful fragrance, especially for tea lovers. You should definitely try Chai Amber. I think the price points of all of these fragrances are similar. Okay, I think he's got an offer going on as well. So like I said, I will mention the prices on the screen. Now, the last fragrance on this house, or the third one that I'm rating in this particular video, is called Desi Rum and Hookah. Okay, so it's got a very nice catch to it. It's got a Desi Rum, so I think there is an old monk bottle that he had used in one of the images. So this has got rum, it's got plum, it's got apple hookah flavor. Okay, clove, tobacco leaf, Indian sandalwood, vanilla, and ISO super. So at the back, it's got the description. On the front, like I said, it's got the note part of it, and the bottle is like this. It's got a dark juice. Now this is also pretty good. Okay, in fact, I've liked all three because I'm a sucker for gourmand fragrances, so I absolutely enjoy these type of fragrances because they're unique. They are not clones of any other fragrances, or they're not inspired from anything. They are standing apart on their own, so it kind of feels nice to try them. So this is a fragrance for me. It feels like The opening might feel a little similar to French tart because there is the rum part of it. Even cinnamon also brings that rum. But it's like if you smelt Old Monk rum, right? It is that kind of a boozy vibe that you get. That's the first note that you get on this particular fragrance, where you do smell that rum vibe especially, and then you do smell that apple vibe. So because apple is common in French tart and in this, but the way they open up after that is slightly different, okay? So the boozy vibe, and you have more like a fermented apple here. That's what I would say. So if you have done apple cider vinegar, for example, if you have tried apple cider vinegar, you know that it smells appley, but then it's got a tartness, it's got a vinegar-like vibe, and that's something that you kind of get in this particular fragrance. Now, the other element is after a few minutes, you get a strong, a smoke element, which is like the hash of a cigarette, right? So though it has got hookah, I would say that for me, it kind of smells like the ash of a cigarette or the hash of a tobacco cigar. That kind of a hash vibe is something that you get, and that is very, very nice because it smells very different. It's not a smoky barbecue kind of a vibe. It's more of a cigarette ash type vibe, right? So if you have had cigarette ash drop and you've smelled it, you know it's got that grey hash kind of a vibe, which is a burnt kind of a vibe. That's something that you will get. Now that's the boozy element that comes along with this ash type of vibe. And after the 4 or 5 hour mark, you start getting the vanilla woody vibe, because this has also got a lot of Indian sandalwood woody kind of element with a little bit of vanilla. Again, on this one, the performance is good. You do get about 5-6 hours easily on your skin, and apparel, it can go up to 8-10 hours, even next day as well. It smells very, very nice. So on the whole, the 3 different kind of fragrances. So while French apple tart has got a oud element, it's got that nice pastry type of a vibe. This has got more of a boozy element. This is the rum, desi rum and hookah has got the boozy element with the hash, that is the predominant element. Whereas Chai Amber has got a nice spicy tea with a little bit of a milky type of a vibe. So absolutely beautiful fragrances to try out for winters especially, and something different from your traditional designers, niche fragrances that you would want to try. And you can definitely explore this house. Like I said, this is from the house of Alpha Fragrance House, and I'll give in the details of Laksh Pandey. You can get in touch with him to buy your fragrances. I will also try out another 3 fragrances that are based on Bailey, orange liquor, and I think another one is a mojito type of a liquor. So we'll try those fragrances as well, and I'll come back to you on another video. But if you like this video, hit a like button, subscribe and share, and I'll see you on another one. Till then, take care. Bye bye.